Hi everyone, I'm Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson, and my job is to oversee democracy for the entire state. I have the responsibility of enforcing our constitutional rights and making sure every citizen has their right to vote protected. So today I'm going to read one of my favorite books, Equality's Call, by Michigander Deborah Diesen. Our founders declared when our country began that consent of the governed was part of the plan. Through voting, elections, and representation, the voice of the people would strengthen our nation. In fact, for years, this great founding ideal was extended to some, and for others, not real. But we heard in the distance equality's call. A right isn't right till it's granted for all. The state set the rules about who got to vote, and your gender, your race, and your wealth were of note. White men with property went to the polls, but the rest of the people were left off the rolls. The dream of democracy wasn't yet true. There were changes to make. There was still work to do. But we heard growing clearer equality's call. A right isn't right till it's granted to all. The rules about wealth were the first things to go. As more were enfranchised, their voices could grow. And a small group of voices was raising the fact that enslavement was wrong, an unspeakable act. Good people stood up for the truth that they knew. Abolition and suffrage were long overdue. We heard ever louder equality's call. A right isn't right till it's granted to all. There was war in our nation, and slavery ended. Amendments were added, the franchise extended. Now more men could vote, at least so the law said, yet denial through taxes and tests was widespread, and the voices of women were mostly omitted. In only some states was their voting permitted. But nothing could muffle equality's call. A right isn't right till it's granted to all. Suffragists didn't give up on the fight, and the 19th Amendment gave women the right. But voters of color still met with oppression. Their voting was hindered by brutal suppression. So we passed legislation to make voting fair, to extend and protect voters' rights everywhere. We heard it, we felt it, equality's call. A right isn't right till it's granted to all. The journey's not over, the work hasn't ended. Democracy's dream must be constantly tended. But where are we now is a debt that we owe to the work of more people than we'll ever know. And each time we vote, we acknowledge that past. We honor our rights to ensure they will last. For to vote is to answer equality's call, and each time we vote with them all. I hope you enjoyed this story as much as I did. And remember, your voice matters, and every vote counts. Enjoy the rest of Reading Month.